Hey, guess who's back? Someone else. I'm just kidding. It's me. Hey, good morning. 1 hour's worth of morning, at least here anyway. How you been? I missed at least 7.6 of you. um, if you hear some slight baby snores, that's just my kid on the side. Hopefully I won't have a potty mouth and be loud at the same time, but no promises. I don't know. We'll see. How you been? How you been these past 2.5 weeks? I've been away. Oh my God. So much happened. And yet at the same time, not much happened, at least to me, because I didn't go out as much as I wanted. And there were some little constraints on certain things, but it's not because of the country. I mean, to a degree it is, but it's not like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. No, it's not. Before I get into my little stories about my trip, and it's going to be an ongoing theme for at least 2 or 3 weeks, and it's going to, I'm going to try to taper down after the third mark and see if I don't want to be like, when I was in this country, I did this. I used to do that when I lived there, and it took me such a long time to actually stop saying such things. Several months, in fact. But with the trip, maybe 2 to 3 weeks should be the taper down. If not, that's it. I do have some micro hauls going on, and I will show those shortly. But first, I do have these. I may start on this later. I don't know yet, but this is how much cards I did during the trip because I had to stay in. I had things going on. I was unwell for a good chunk of the week. And so I was so bored that I did about 34 cards, 34, 35, give or take. And yeah, that's a lot. If you notice some of them are colored a bit, it's because I used marker or really, really old acrylic paint that I ended up throwing away. And I was in China. Yes. If you did not hear that well, I was in China for 2.5 weeks. And it's kind of funny that I had heard handfuls of propagandas and fear-mongering online, and even from certain people I know, warning me like, oh, you got to be careful. There's the COVID. It's going to get you. It's already here again. There's a new strain and this and that. And I went there because, for starters, we already bought the damn tickets. So we got to go. And 6, nothing freaking happened that was COVID related. At most, there were a few face masks here and there, but it was like, if anything, it was like here, if you have like a cold or you have allergies or whatever, there's gonna be face mask, but it was at a low because, for starters, it was hot as balls over there. All right. It was freaking blazing hot over there. And to wear a face mask, well, they live there, so they're kind of used to it. But for me, with my sweaty face all over a freaking mask, I could not keep that on over there. So I did not have a mask. Okay. And I wasn't sick, so I was good. As you can see here, I did go quite insane with all the details to the point where I even drew myself a few times. You can kind of tell which is me at this point, I assume. This is me. So I also need to have a constant reminder to stop saying the word so, and, as much as possible. I do try to keep track of all of the filler words I repeat constantly, and I need to improve on my vocabularies. Yeah, my capillaries. And so, yeah, and then I combine those two words together to make it even more annoying for myself when I watch this back. And why is there a hair on my sleeve? Anyway, as you can see here, I yammer a lot. I have blended markers. Where's the stupid cover? I took it off because it had plastic and I didn't want to deal with it. So we have this. I saw this while I was doing last minute gift shopping for relatives that I was unable to meet because I'm flying to China, and then they come here. I love my timing, right? So there's that word again. while I was shopping, I saw this and I was like, blending markers, what's up with that? So, oh my God, I'm so glad this is not a drinking game or electroshock therapy game. Let's get on with it. And yes, this is the first time I ever saw or use these markers, despite me not having to deal with tape. So here is what? Okay, there's a second layer underneath. They make such a big deal of these markers. The packaging's really cute, I'll admit, but I mean, I guess it's okay. And the drawing I'm going to test it on, this hamburger. The thing with this hamburger is that I have a weird picture that has hamburger in really questionable, debatable colors, but I thought it was kind of funny, so let's try it out. The only thing is, I don't think I have the correct colors. You want to see the hamburger that I have as a reference? Yeah, it's, I don't know. I thought it was kind of interesting. And it'd be a pretty decent test for this kind of stuff here. And if it doesn't work out, I can just paint it over with acrylic paint because that's what I do. Oh, wait, where's the blending? What? Oh, I was like, where is it? It's underneath, you big dope. Okay, let's move this here. And I got to move my little micro hulls on the side for now because I don't have room. I have a bit of a, not strain, but it's okay. Packaging, you're going to go over here for a bit. Oh my goodness gracious. 6, almost 7 minutes and I haven't done jack shit. Okay, let's see. Sorry. Well, he's sleeping, so it's fine. All right, so we got this for, I don't have to blend anything. So maybe I'll just do like this as like a darkening sort of thing. I don't know. Where the hell's that reference? The reference, by reference, I mean, like, what am I supposed to be doing? They didn't say. Okay, so it looks like this for jellyfish. Okay, so I can add some yellow to perk it up because the original reference, there wasn't any blending anything. There's also purple, but there's already purple on it. I don't know what I'm doing, but let's find out. So yeah, the trip, let me get my notey notes. Okay, let me put this here because I cannot fathom what I'm doing sometimes when I'm multitasking. So yes, I went to China way back in June 12th, and I came back on Monday, June 30th. It seems like a long time, but honestly, it was not enough. We should have stayed longer. But not so much me and my kid. We could stay longer. The only other thing is my husband he's the one with work, so we can only stay, and they're not super lenient with hours of vacation. If you're not careful, they get pissed. So we only had 2.5 weeks was kind of pushing it. Overall, the trip was a pretty good success. Some major mishaps happened, but I don't know if I should talk about it. I did try to talk about it yesterday on my live stream, but then it wasn't so much, oh, maybe this is too far. It wasn't that. It was because I had a paint container cover looking nasty on my desk for a solid 20 minutes. And that's the reason why I removed it from my main page on Insta. So that was interesting to deal with. If you want to know, maybe I'll talk about it in part 2. So if you want to know the major crazy stories that happened while I was in China, let me know, and then I can do it in part 2. How about that? Does that make sense? I hope so. The trip, we haven't been to China since 2019, right before COVID started, and we wanted to go, But of course, we were always reminded constantly, if not by the government, if, social media and things online say, reminding us that, oh, it's not safe there. It's a bit crazy. It's going a bit haywire on the other side. There's all this nasty, dirty stuff going on. And it's one thing when people that are not of, that are not of Chinese heritage saying such things. I mean, there's some that are born and raised there that are not Chinese by blood and stuff. And I don't balk on that. That's all right. That makes sense. But most of the time it's from people who are not born and or raised or lived in China long enough, or if they did live long enough there, you can't help but question. Are you really sure that's what they're really saying? You don't really totally know. There are some things that you could not really even understand what the heck that they're saying sometimes. I don't mean like, oh, language barrier. I just mean like there are some things from beyond our understanding that they would know as a local person from China. However, what I was hearing, like the whole thing about COVID having a resurgence again and this and that, and the food there is like next to poison, and it's, the pollution is terrible, houses are crumbling, tofu dregs of buildings, floods, and this and that, and chaos ensuing. At least where I was staying, none of that crap happened. Okay, it was as if nothing happened. I was like, oh, this is good. And then I was kind of mad at myself for believing into that crap. Like, oh my God, I'm no better than those fools that believe into, the AI stuff that is really happening. It turns out it's not really happening. It felt like that. And I felt stupid. But at the same time, at least I realized that all we see online there's no guarantee that it is 100% accurate most of the time, especially with AI floating around and people doing all those crazy things that are not real and pranks and stuff. So, and a lot of the stuff that I saw was either on Instagram or on Threads, but there's a lot of fear mongering on Threads, I noticed. So the first thing I did when I got my internet back, I got my Wi-Fi and my mobile data back in the States, I uninstalled Threads. I was just fed up. Like, I need to stop looking at that crap. The other thing that I noticed was people talking bad, aside from people who are not Chinese, were actually Chinese from China themselves, or even westernized Chinese talking bad about China. And I was like, and you would think, oh, okay, maybe they have more understanding and experience with the country more than people that are not Chinese. And then a lot of the things they're saying either were way off or none of that crap was true. So what the hell's going on? I don't know. But from my understanding or lack thereof, I realize that I need to not always rely on the internet in terms of figuring out certain places that I've never been to in a long time, or never been to at first. I mean, you have to be very careful when you do research, because people can say anything online and say it's a fact when in fact it's not. And that's really upsetting and annoying as hell. And you feel like an idiot, which I did. But at least I can admit I felt stupid, rather than just doubling down and denying that I am an idiot or believing that far in. At the same time, though, I was glad that I was wrong, that it was not that terrible, horrible place that they said it was. And I learned that I need to be careful when taking in information. But, you're trying to research, you're trying to make sure your family is safe, you yourself are safe, you don't want to eat poison, you don't want to get severe food poisoning. I did get a tiny bit, but that I think that was my fault at that point. So yeah, I'm rambling on. This isn't looking good already. I'm like, I'm not liking this. I'm not liking this. I haven't even tried the blending yet. So I'm just trying to put little bits of pieces here to have some kind of blending effect. If it's ugly, I will paint over it like it never happened. It never happened. It never happened. Oh, that part stuck. I'm sorry. Oh, I wrote notes. So I don't like fear mongering, and it sucks even more when you fall into it. You start believing into that stuff, like the whole thing about either when you arrive to the U.S. or you arrive to China, you will be asked about turning in your phone. I think it was in the US if you come back or some other. They will ask you to look at your phone in case you have some things saying bad about the president or you have some very radical beliefs and you're following people that are radical online, you know. And I was like, "What? They do that?" I heard that on Threads for sure. Or they are targeting people with green cards and even US citizens that don't look a certain way. I was like, "What?" You know, I was hearing that kind of crap, and you hear it enough, it's true. You will start to question, like, is it true? I don't want it to be. And then the other thing was in customs. What else in customs? Also in China, they are very nationalistic, so they may treat foreigners and certain people that are not Chinese more aggressive. They are like, go back home to where they don't want foreigners around. And so they may treat you weird once you arrive there. So I was like, what? I'm sad. And then what else was there? Food was not very good. They were doing a crackdown on food that was fake. I think my husband saw that one as well, where they put a whole bunch of chemicals to make up for lack of resources, lack of food sources, fruits, vegetables, soups, meats, noodles and stuff. Like, if they can make it, they could fake it. I was like, ugh, yuck. And they say the chemical ones tasted better than the original foods. I was like, oh, okay, I see. Oh God, this is ugly. And I was kind of worried about coming back to China as the days were getting closer and closer to the day of the traveling stuff. And it got to the point where my husband and I were talking about, okay, maybe we should uninstall our apps that are kind of questionable or cause trouble. And then when we come back here, we will install it back. And then the other thing about like, oh, what if they look at us weird, especially if, you're the one with the green card, what do you do about that? Questions. And we honestly did not know anyone who was traveling recently and had problems that was, of their current status as a citizen, or you're not a citizen, or you have a green card. We didn't know enough yet. It was also a little bit last minute, so we were kind of scrambling around trying to figure out what we're going to bring. We also decided not to bring gifts because last time we went there, it was just, I don't know, our reception was not as energetic as my husband hoped for, and so he was a little disappointed, and he decided, we're only giving gifts to my parents. I was like, are you sure about that? I can still go out and buy gifts. Yes, I'm sure. So we had no gifts for a lot of people, which was funny because when we came back there, a whole bunch of people, especially his friends he hasn't seen for 6 years, invited him for dinners and lunches and outings. And my husband felt super bad about that. He felt guilty that he had no gifts for them. But then fast forward, they already decided, okay, we got to start doing this annually. So we're going to go there again next year. And so this time he's like, okay, we got to give gifts now. So for sure we have to bring luggage. And yes, I did not have luggage this time. We only had carry-on, and it sounds like, oh, you don't have to go to the stupid luggage carousel and wait for your stuff and have your stuff banged up or missing or ripped open, and it's not misplaced or put in another airplane. You don't have to worry about, oh my God, I had to carry all my crap. I had the heaviest bag. I'm 5'4", 162 centimeters. I'm short, if not barely average height, and my bag was almost half my size. Yet somehow I was able to bring it in. Okay, so this blending stuff right now, I'm not feeling it. I think the colors are not. I could just do this with watercolor, honestly. I mean, I like the effect. It's kind of cool. It's just okay right I'm not feeling it. See the colors. Oh, ooh, ew, what is this? What color is that? Is that scab? The color of scabs? I'm not feeling this color at all. Ew. But we're in it now. We gotta commit. See if I can give it justice. But oh god, what is that? It looks like a scab. I need to not. Okay, back to the other one. Okay, let's take a break from the pink because I'm not feeling this pink. This okay. There is purple. Oh gosh, these covers are kind of weird. You don't know which side to open. Sorry, my communication about this trip is a little bit back and forth, just because so much went on. I cannot emphasize that enough. Yeah, there was a lot of fear mongering towards China, and it was really irritating. And sometimes it was kind of hard to believe what was real, what was not, but not to the point where like I'm terrified of going to China. No, it's just I had some concerns in terms of if I eat something, will I get sick? Will we be stopped at the border, not border, but like at customs? Do we have to deal with security? How strict are they? We haven't been there in 6 years. How have things changed? Did anything change at all? And for us, overall, when we stay there, it didn't seem like anything happened. The only difference it was, well, for starters, everything you use to pay with cash, it's all on phone and not just like your credit card. It's like you pay with barcode. And I think the US is starting to do that in certain areas already. So I was like, oh, okay, we're going to be catching up to that. So technically we're looking into the future because they're trying to make everything digital as well over there. I was like, oh, I guess that's fine. I don't know. And then it was really awkward for us because we only had cash. And when I mentioned we had some money constrictions, it was a little awkward paying with cash, but they'll still accept cash. Just it was kind of weird, and they gave us kind of like odd looks, especially the younger people at the cashiers. Like, what? You don't? What's wrong with your phone? And when we mentioned, oh, it's just not working, and they're like, okay, I guess. So it was kind of awkward, but it wasn't it wasn't like we can't pay at all. Just we were also told not to bring too much money because we did not want to cause too much trouble. Plus, we didn't have any luggage to carry extra things, so we had to not buy as much. And and my husband was looking at me at this point because I usually like to buy novelty items. And I was like, fine. I did manage to buy a few things. I'll show a micro haul towards the end of this video. It was annoying because they had so much things, especially at their malls. I was floored. Almost every time I go to Chinese malls, I am floored. There's just so much going on. They have like at least 2 or 3 levels for food and desserts, drinks, not just Chinese food, but food from other countries, fusion foods. It's crazy. And I was like, why don't we have like this much dedication to malls here? Because meanwhile, malls are either kind of small or they're trying to expand, but it takes so long to get anything done. Stores close down. Theft is rampant half the time. There is some truth to that, but thankfully I don't see it too much so far. And I just like, it's so embarrassing. The malls you thought were pretty okay until you go to China or Asian countries in general, and they have like crazy, amazing ass malls. I was like, oh my God, can I live here again? And then the only thing is, if I live in China, which I have before, it's not going to be the same as it was if I was on vacation. I know this too well. I did work there for over 3 years, and I was just working like crazy. I didn't have enough time to go on vacation or spend time with my family. I always had to work. And the only days off I had when I was working there was in the morning. that was my time off. I was practically working 5 to 7 days a week in the late afternoon, early to the evening. And then I was like, I don't spend time with my own family and loved ones. Like, what the heck? And I was just not very happy with the situation of like holidays that I am familiar with in US. They don't have most of them in China. They heard of them like Christmas and Thanksgiving, but I had to use them as teaching tools rather than, oh, it's a holiday, you can get a pass, you can stay. No, they don't. If it's not a holiday there, you're gonna work there too. I mean, they do that the same thing here with, oh, we don't have Chinese Lunar New Year here, you got to go to work. I was like, oh shit. You know, this is not looking so hot. I'm trying my best and it's not going well. Ugh, it looks like barf. It looks like galactic barf. I'm not feeling this very much, but I'm trying. I think I'm gonna have to paint over this with acrylic paint because these colors I'm not liking very much, unless the picture I have, it will suit it very well, but this ain't suiting very well for me. I'm sorry for complaining, but this is seriously my first time ever using these kinds of markers. And while I do like the blending effect, I'll give it that. Right now, the colors are not doing it for me. I want to do more with it, but it feels like it's not enough. Okay, so, ugh. Come on, please. Make me like you. Okay, let me do the hamburger bun, actually. Oh, gosh, I don't like this color. I like it, but not this washed out version, but I gotta try. Plus, it doesn't help that it has seeds, but I was thinking I could just paint it on top since it's a massive failure, but let's just do it plain bun without the seeds right now. What are those things? Oh gosh, who's calling? Leave me alone. Yeah, the trip was seriously yet another eye-opener for us. Like the whole thing with the fear-mongering propaganda telling us how China's this bad, horrible, evil place. Hey, man. Hey. Every country has their good sides and their terrible, horrible sides. And we got to make do with what we got, you know? But sometimes when people hear how bad other countries are, they like to gang up and go, yeah, your country's garbage. Our food's better than yours. We don't have crap and junk and this and that and so many chemicals. Dude, we're made out of chemicals ourselves, okay? Shut up. And things we do ingest also have some level of chemicals in them, all right? So shut up. So anyway, sorry, I keep saying so much. Well, please don't let this be a drinking game. Oh my God, this blue is so ugly. But yeah, don't make this so thing a drinking game. I don't want you to get to hurt yourself. Okay, be careful. Don't make this a drinking game. And this blue is so ugly, I want to cry, but there's no point in wasting my tears on this ugly blue. I knew this blue was gonna be butt ugly, but my goodness gracious, what in the holy Christmas crackers. I ain't feeling these colors. I'm trying to commit, but they're too ugly. They're too ugly. What's going on here? Colors, help me. No. I guess I have to use acrylic paint to save the day. Even though they are more vibrant, but not as vibrant as the reference, it's definitely more vibrant than these butt ugly colors. I'm like, I don't like it. I'm sorry for complaining, but this ain't it. This ain't it. So now, here's how to fix something you don't like. Where's my paint brush? Okay, I guess I can use this one. Shoot. Another way to do is if I mix the colors, but I don't feel like it, I'm just going to mix as I go because I hate mixing paints. See, there's a little, see, you can barely tell the difference of the vibrancy, unfortunately. I think I will try to make it a little bit pastel if I have the freaking white paint. Where is, okay, we have, did I, oh, I didn't use that one yet. Ah, fart. Okay, I gotta use this then. I will try to make it a little bit more pastel because sometimes it saves me. Oh God, who's talking? Let me lock the door in case they want to start barging in like they own the place. Oh, never mind, just family on the phone. I thought that someone came in and just started yammering on about stuff, and my mom likes her gossip. But at the same time, though, okay, good. Just making sure. I just don't like, sometimes people like to barge in because we're family. Privacy it's non-existent. And I'm, oh, okay, thanks. My God, I have to fix this. Actually, I haven't tried this kind of paint on this paper yet. So I'm curious because this is more for maybe mixed media, if not watercolor. I haven't tried it yet for, oh my God, this is looking still kind of ugly, but still a lot better than this ugly blue. I don't like it. Oh, shoot. Do I have, I don't want to get up again. There's some, this is just the base color, so I can still alter it later on. Okay, I can fix this. I can fix it. Oh my God, get out of there, ugly blue. Ah, I usually like a lot of blues, but this blue it wasn't doing it for me. I'm so disappointed. That was the last straw. I was gonna forgive this icky salmon pink and stuff. I was gonna forgive the purple because I like purple, but that blue, I couldn't stand it. It was the last straw. Okay, so other things in China that went on. Well, my husband and son, apparently they are, what are they? They liked hiking. They like going out into nature. I tried it. I don't like it. Okay. If you like it, I will never take that away from you. I will not call you like, oh, you suck because you like to hike and fish. And no, it's not like that. It's more like I get left out when they enjoy these things because I'm not really into those things. Plus, I had some moments of not feeling well. So I had to stay behind for the first part of the trip, first week anyway. So I was so bored that, like I mentioned, I did these cards while they went out and climbed a freaking mountain. They went to the valleys and went swimming in a really cold lake, but they had fun, collected frogs, just went on this nice flatland sort of hike in the woods and stuff. They hung out with my husband's old time friends since they were little, since childhood. He reconnected with an old coworker on a whim because I had gas, and so we were looking for the Tesco, and we found out Tesco doesn't exist over there in Dandong, where we stayed for a few days. But because I went that direction towards the Tesco, we ran into my husband's old coworker whose company, well, the original company was for architecture, but there were some not so great things happening and it turned into another business. But a lot of his coworkers left except this one guy, but they were good friends when they worked together. So it was an interesting coincidence. We weren't even expecting him at all. So I was like, you're welcome for having tummy issues. So my husband was able to catch up with a lot of people, maybe not enough as he wanted, but at the same time, he was able to meet a lot of them. And they fell in love with my son. A lot of the locals, his friends, family, relatives, they love my son. They love our kid. They always come, oh, he's so handsome. He has such big eyes and he's so pretty. And then they'd say, oh, he got it from the mom. And I'm like, I want to take credit, but honestly, I think my son's prettier than me. He's too pretty. Even some of the locals thought he was a girl. I was like, is this a girl? Like, no, that's a boy. But he was wearing a pink shirt a handful of times. So, and he has kind of a very, not feminine, but his face is really pretty. And so they were like, you sure that's not a girl? Like, yes, that's my child. I'm quite sure that's not a girl. It was kind of funny, but at the same time, he was well received. He took to China like a fish in water. He loved a lot of it. There were some things he did not like. For instance, Chinese food. He did not like it very much. He liked it a little bit first off. Then eventually he was introduced to McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, Pizza Hut, Wallace Burger, cake, ice cream, and if it wasn't any of those, he won't eat. It got to the point where my father-in-law learned how to make French fries. He never made French fries before until I taught him on a whim, and he makes them taste better than mine. I was like, what the heck? I wanted to be mad and envious and jealous, but it tasted good. I can admit defeat when it tastes good. So meanwhile, my kid did not take to his fries, his homemade fries from his grandfather. I was like, eat his fries. But he did not. He was just, and plus people were spoiling him rotten. And that's one of the things why I wasn't sure if him living here, over there would be good long term, because once he's there, he's going to be spoiled rotten. And I needed him to be a little bit more grounded and have more understanding that you cannot just have everything you want, because once you're over there, you'll get everything you want. But I was there to remind them, like, hey, you got to say no, blah, blah, blah. So he did get some reprimands here and there. And plus, I was a little bit sore about being left out most of the time. I'm trying my best not to take it out on him. But at the same time, he was also getting a little, when kids get a lot of things thinking they can get away with things. He's at that stage right now, trying to like defy us and try to see how far he can go to push our buttons. And no, I will for sure remind him firmly and sternly to not do that crap. Anyway, my son loves China very much, but he does not want to live there because of all the homework. He saw like, I don't want to do homework. I still want to go back home and do my homework there. I'm like, okay, fine. But he loves the hiking. He loves the countryside. He loves trying to look for frogs and lizards, bugs, typical boy stuff. For me, I can tolerate it, but then after a while, because it's so hot and I'm easily sweaty, I had to sit down and mind my health. And so it was not as fun for me. I did get some art done, yes, but after a while, I was getting bored. And I also couldn't spend much money because I can't bring anything back to here unless I bring it back and I leave it in China, which I'm trying not to do. I did that for 3 years. I don't do that anymore. It was a little, not boring, but I didn't do very much as I wanted because several handfuls of constraints that prevented me from doing so. Plus, I shouldn't be buying too much anyway. But at the same time, there was so much cool stuff. Like, for instance, at the malls were crazy impressive, several floors full of something for someone. Except maybe clothes, unless you're a skinny person. They do have clothes for big people, but at the same time, they're not very flattering. They look like bags. Ugh, I could never, because I used to be quite fat back then when I lived in China, and so I didn't have nice enough clothes, and I just did not like how I looked back then. It was just and then the clothes weren't helping. But at the same time, I think they're getting better at their styles now than how it was when I lived there. because there were some stylish, bigger people, and they had some pretty dresses. And I was like, okay, that's good. Like, where was this when I was living there? But I can't gripe any further. Okay, I need purple. Where are you? I don't have what? What? Where is the? Oh wait, I put my hairbrush in here. What the hell? I have a purple and I put it somewhere stupid. What the hell's wrong with me? Let's just focus on pink right now. Gosh, 39 minutes I have been yammering on. Oh shit, I forgot to wash it off. And truth to what I remembered, the Chinese in Northeast China are still tall and getting taller. Both men and women, because there were some men and women as tall as, if not taller than my husband. My husband's like 6'2", 6'3", 182 centimeters, give or take, depending on what shoes he wears. But there were like 20-year-olds, even some teenagers, as tall as, if not taller than my husband. And that still floors me because growing up here in the US, most of the Asians and Chinese I've seen here, they're like either my height or a little taller, like around 5'7", 5'8". And then 5'10" and 5'11" is considered tall here. But when you go over there and you see like tall, lumbering Chinese guys or women as tall as my husband at 6'2", I was like, whoa, what are you guys eating? It was so, for the first time I saw that, it was definitely a culture shock. But then over time, I was like, okay, but once in a while, I was like, dang, you guys are so tall. And in the town, the small city I lived in, there were a lot of twins. Like usually both girls, both boys. I haven't seen one where it's one girl, one boy, and they had a lot of dimples. Yes. And then handfuls of them, they look like they're from Latin America, but then when they open their mouth, they sound like they are speaking Mandarin. So I was like, oh, okay, so it's more interesting than what we're seeing online. Okay, so we can't always take at face value what some people say. Plus, you can't always believe what I say. You have to go experience it for yourself. China is ridiculously huge. Even where I was at, I was in Liaoning province, and that area is quite interesting because we're more further north. And the Chinese that come to the US, more or less, are either from South China, like Guangzhou province, or they're from, Hong Kong, either of those. And it's really interesting because people who usually are not from China, they assume that's all Chinese, that's all they are, that's how all they look like. And then they have all these stupid stereotypes about them that I see online to this day. Like there's always women saying, I would never date an Asian guy. They say things like that. And what do I say? But like, whatever helps you sleep at night, I don't care. But like, geez, man, why write off people like that? But people are selfish people or selfish beings sometimes, and very ignorant. At the same time, though, I'm like, okay, whatever. A dodge bullet. But yeah, I also miss the food. One of my major concerns about going there was the food. Last time you went there, I think we had really bad food poisoning, and we could not really pinpoint where we got sick. It was maybe around the time we had watermelon, and I ate it the least, so I was the least sick, but the rest of my family ate more of it, so they were definitely more sick, including my poor little baby. He was 2 years old. Oh my God, I felt so awful when that happened. But this time we did not get sick. At most only me, but that was like very minor. I think it was mostly from overeating, and I needed my tummy to settle, or like the last day of our trip, I think it was the cilantro that was the raw cilantro, or the pickled, really salty green vegetables I had. One of those two made my tummy not feel good. Oh my gosh. Have you ever traveled while your tummy and you feel like you want to throw up. And you have to be on the plane for 12 hours and another plane for 1 hour, and you are stuck in between flights waiting, and it's a slight delay, and you feel like shit. I did, but thankfully no puke was involved, so I am grateful that was the case rather than being like so violently ill I could not get on a plane. Oh my god, I don't want that to be a thing ever. The people were so nice, despite hearing that they were very nationalistic and pro-China, that they may be a bit aggressive or annoyed or ignore the foreigners at visit. No, they were nice. And even if I was American, they're like, oh, really? Okay, well, let's help you out. They're super kind and stuff. And I was like, oh, thank you. And they like my son. So they were still nice to us. I didn't have any problems. They were very helpful, especially when we had questions. And they directed us to the correct place, and we were very thankful for them. So that was great. I was relieved. We were worried that they're going to treat us weird after all that fear-mongering we heard online and in the news and stuff. What else was okay? I also went to the museum. I think I mentioned on here about the Korean War. And we were kind of concerned that, oh, as an American, you may be seen as the enemy. Like, I wasn't there. I didn't start it. It happened way before I existed. Why would I be offended by that? Plus, I think it's a good learning experience for anyone outside of China because they have a lot of evidence. They have a lot of stuff that happened, and they collected it and they put it on display. Some of them are quite dangerous, but wow, they had so much stuff. The museum is huge, ridiculously huge. I was like, do we have stuff like this back home? I wouldn't know. And if I, like, holy shit, it was crazy seeing how much they collected from the war. When I hear the comments before, they would deny that this war existed, it ever happened. Oh boy, if you saw that, and if you're going to say, oh, that's all fake, like, they don't have the time to make all that stuff fake, okay? It happened. Whether you want to deny it or not, it freaking happened. So, from what they collected and what I read, I was impressed, and, at the whole display of everything. And they also have English, explanations on display, so you cannot say I can't understand anything. You got something. Okay, no excuses. I did take pictures and a few videos here and there, and that's accepted, so that's fine. If you want to see it, let me know in the comments. Oh, I only have as picture, so maybe as a post, or can I do a kind of slideshow on a video? I have a few videos, so let me know if you want to see a preview of the Korean Museum, of the Korean War Museum in Dandong City. I also went on the broken bridge that was across Yalu River. Yeah, that bombing of that bridge, I went there. It's still there, and it's still broken. They have another one next to it where they go back and forth between North Korea and China for cargo, God knows what. But yeah, that bridge that you saw in the movie, that's a real bridge. But I was, again, while it was interesting to see, and I was amazed by how humongous the whole place was, I was more impressed with the original Forbidden City in Shenyang. I don't know if a lot of people know about it, but the Forbidden City in Shenyang was the first place before they moved to Beijing. That one I was more impressed with, not because, oh, it's the original place. I mean, yes, but the architecture and the details they have. I know they have it in Beijing, but we didn't go there. The one in Shenyang, they were very detailed about how they developed the blueprints for the palaces and the structures. They had literally like architects and engineers designing these things, and the paintings and the designs and the intricate details of the wood paintings and the just everything. I was floored and quite humbled at their skill in art, because I look at my own art like, what the heck is that? I suck. Well, blame Crayola. I'm just kidding, not Crayola. I'm sorry, Crayola gods. But it did give me some kind of motivation to try better in traditional art. Like, if these people from the Qing dynasty can create incredible pieces of work without the need of validating themselves on social media and trying to aim for likes and views, then maybe I can try to improve on my art a little bit more, put a little bit more pressure on myself, but not too much that I hurt myself, obviously, but just to expand more on my skill. And I think it was a very useful visit for me to visit the Shenyang's Forbidden City. It was really cool. I did I have a few videos of that? I'm not sure. I had a lot of pictures for sure. And then you can also dress up as in Qing Dynasty wear. I think you can be concubine or an empress, or you can be an emperor or a prince. I saw the emperor wearing sneakers, tapping on his phone. I thought that was kind of funny. The empresses were like these old ladies most of the time, and they were on their cell phones and big chunky shoes. That was kind of funny. And they also had hamburgers sold at the Forbidden City. I kind of want to try one, but I was like, oh, maybe later. It might be expensive. Usually tourist attractions cost more money, food included. They had gift shops. I couldn't buy anything there. I just took pictures and left. They did have Black Myth Wukong blind boxes of the Destined One only. Funny enough, where I was at, I barely saw anything Black Myth Wukong related. At most, I only have a Jubaja fidget spinner. Oh, I can show that. Let me get it before I forget. Sorry, I had to put some of my things in my secret compartment case. It has a zipper, don't worry. Jubaja, where are you? I just put you in here and now you're in hiding. Oh, I think I hid it from my son because he has a habit of breaking things. And if you know that about your kid and they don't seem to change their ways, hide your stuff. So I got this Jubaja fidget spinner. Yeah, it looks kind of generic, but this is the only thing I saw that was a Black Myth Wukong that I could actually purchase. It moves quite smoothly, actually. And it goes on quite long. But after a while, the novelty will definitely wear out. But I was just glad I got something Black Myth Wukong related at all. Funny enough, Black Myth Wukong was not as popular where I was at. Maybe in southern China or Shanghai, where their headquarters are located. They may be more popular there. But where I was at, I barely heard about it. At most, I heard my husband's friend's son likes to play Black Myth Wukong. That was the closest I ever heard of. And then what was more popular, not funny enough, but well, because the Neza, that little boy with the wheels on the feet and has fire and fought the Dragon Lord, because of that movie that was released, it was insanely popular that I saw blind boxes, promos, school supplies. My son literally got a Neja a stationery set from that boy who played Black Myth Wukong. Yeah, he got him a nice gift. What a sweetheart. Of stationery from Neja. I was like, what? That's so freaking cool. I don't have it on me right now. Maybe I'll give a picture later. Yeah, that movie about Neja was everywhere. Food, snacks, toys, stationery, backpacks, blind boxes. He was everywhere. Freaking everywhere. Unlike Black Myth Wukong, which I was sorely disappointed, but I heard some things when we got back, and I won't bring it up because it was my husband's stuff, so he may make an announcement later. Anyway, it was really interesting how we thought, oh, this might be popular over there. It turns out it's not. Or at least in the area we were at, it was not as popular, and I was kind of disappointed because I wanted some Black Myth Wukong merch. I didn't get it. And then Also, another thing I found out, Labubus. Have you guys ever heard of Labubus? Those weird little ugly monster things with fur jumpsuits and big teeth. They're not as popular where I was at. Okay, I cannot vouch for all of China because China is, as I said, and cannot emphasize enough, ridiculously huge. But the Labubus were not that popular. They existed, some people had them, but it wasn't seen as I gotta wait in line for 6 hours for this limited edition of Labubu. It was just there on display, and that's about it. At most, I think Stitch from Lilo and Stitch was quite popular. Winnie the Pooh was popular, despite what people keep saying about, Winnie the Pooh and a certain someone. Those were the ones I saw that were very prominent. Also, a few animes here and there. Pokemon still popular there. A handful of Japanese things were popular there. I was like, oh, okay. Lulu the Piggy was there, and I was able to, for the death of me, I can't find my purple. So I think I got to wrap this up for now. This is all I can finish, unfortunately. So I'm going to show you my micro haul because these markers are a disappointment. I'm sorry. Crayola, you tried, but I think you need cuter colors. And if you have cuter colors, I may take back what I said about how these are not the best colors ever. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Let's throw you. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to throw. I got to use it at some point, but I don't know when. So I did have things I bought. I guess I can do cards if anyone wants to hang around a little bit more, but no guarantee. I did manage to buy a few things from those malls and those blind box stores, like this freaking Lulu the Piggy plush. Oh my gosh. I have to make a card of this now. I have to commit. Ridiculously cute. And they made like this little extra tag as if it's from Instagram, even though Instagram was banned. Yeah, a lot of Western apps from here are banned in China. And if you want, they have their own variation, but unless you know Mandarin or whatever Chinese you have there, I cannot understand Ting Budong. So yes, I wanted to go on social media and show all this stuff, but I could not. That's why I was totally out. I was not present for 2.5 weeks because I had no internet. You could, in retrospect, we should have gotten a temporary SIM card, but we didn't think that far, and we thought it wouldn't be that bad. It was quite bad. I need my internet. I was willing to pay too. I had the money, but someone was being stingy. Anyway, this was ridiculously cute. I could barely ever see brown pigs, and I like that they has a little duck with a pig nose. Like who comes up with this stuff? What the heck? Don't ask me to buy it. They had a lot more, but again, I had no room. Another Lulu the Piggy thing was this. They had a long strap thing for, I think, the cell phone, but I'm not going to use it. I just wanted this dang purse, and it's also a little keychain thing, and see the pig nose on a duck. Like, what the heck? I think you'd also use it for coins, but coins are filthy. Or for your earbuds. Yeah, earbuds. Let me put you, I guess I'll put you here. I want you to lie down. Then we have the pen. This saved me. I was writing in journals for once, and one of my pens died. I was like, oh, I can actually use this. Can I switch? Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, just making sure. Very, very cute. They had a yellow version, but I settled for purple because I'm a sucker for that color. And then we have the squishy. Squishy's still popular now. Poking me in the eye. But this was considered cheap at 29 RMB. The brown one was actually $69.90. Oh my god. But that is a standard price for this kind of stuff. The really nice things go from 89 to 99, even 100 something RMB. If you're going to ask me how to convert, just go do the conversion on Google. You'll find it. And then, yeah, I ended up having to open this box, take this thing out, collapse the box in my backpack, bring everything, and then this is how I got it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to have it at all. or I would have to throw away the box. But the box is still cute. They still have this. Oh my gosh, ridiculously cute. Damn it! I also got a knockoff from Miniso of that pig, but I thought it was a blind box. It's a keychain. This was pretty cheap at 29 RMB. I don't like this. I worry this will rip, but it lasted pretty well. I tested it as a keychain. It's all right. But I thought I could paint over it, and it grew on me. Originally, I didn't like it, but now I was like, okay, it's kind of cute. I understand now. And I like this a lot more than those Labubu whatevers. I hope they make a cuter version. That would be even better, but let's not be picky. Other dolls, I like plushies, but I can't get big plushies. So I got, oh my God, these are freakishly cute. I think they were for babies, but my kid is 8 years old, so it's mine now. The only downside about, despite them being super cute, I think they were 70 RMB each. The downside is they have a smell, and it's almost borderline lavender. I don't think it's lavender, but it reminds me of lavender smell, and I have to keep them away from me because I am hypersensitive to smells. I hate it. I didn't have this problem until my 30s, but if I hang around these plushies too long, the smell, it kind of goes to my head and I don't like it. But they're so cute though, especially this hippo. Let me love you. Okay, I'm sorry. I make voices. Oh my gosh. Like right now, I just put the dolls next to near my face. Already there's a smell out. I have to put it away or I will feel kind of not so good. Other things that I have besides G-Budget. Do I have? Oh, this sucker costs more than the brown pig. This thing from Beijing International Airport cost me 89 RMB. Why did I buy it? Because it was the only one on display, and the rest were bears with wings that were 99 RMB. Do I regret buying this? Kinda, but I can't do anything about it. It's still kind of cute. Okay. And then this one I did not buy. I did buy it. I think I bought it in the SFO airport. And I left it in China for many years. I brought it back. But yeah, this was in China for, I forgot how long, but I'm pretty sure almost a decade. It's just a tiny hippo. It had a big tag, but I cut it off. It was annoying. But yeah, it was ridiculously. I like cute tiny things too. And it can hug. Okay, sorry. Oh, I do have this one. So I also have a hairpin. I almost never tried hairpins or those Asian chopsticks for your hair. I think I tried to and then I just stopped. But for the longest time, I didn't use it because I had short hair for maybe a decade or two. So I didn't really find the need to trying this. But then when I saw this at the gift shop in Dandong, I was like, oh, I have long hair now. I can try it. But I don't know. It's too, this doesn't suit me, but maybe like a special occasion, I guess. I don't know. And they left. I'm not crying at all. I should wrap things up. It's already past an hour. What else can I talk about besides this failure? I will try to fix this, but no promises because, well, I actually liked the picture and the idea. I thought it was pretty kind of interesting and funny. But when I tried to use oh my God, I'm not feeling this. The colors from Crayola. I wish they had more vibrant colors than whatever the heck they picked. If they picked nicer colors, I would have loved it a lot more, honestly. But the only reason why it looks kind of okay, is because I had to use acrylic paints to save it, to salvage what I could muster. Mustard. Let's just put you here. Do I have time to work on some of these cards? I can do a little bit and then call it a day. Ugh. All right. So, where's my other reference for this? While it's good that I have a bunch of these cards, oh my God, this is hella funny. I will take a long time to do the painting unless I really like it. I kind of like this, but at the same time, again, it's going to take a while. Ugh. I hope I can finish it, but let's let's just take it one step at a time because it's easy for me to get the pencils and the inks on, but when it comes to painting, it's kind of a mixed bag because sometimes the paints don't always work out, or my pens cannot save what has been done already, and it's a pain in the ass. Okay, let me actually do this one here. You know what? Maybe I could try to paint it up close. Oh, shoot. Do I have, I don't have tape. I can stick it on here and then I think I put it somewhere stupid again. Oh, I have a tape. I hope it won't remove the paper from the card. I'll be upset. Not real upset, just whiny upset. It's not, it's a low key upset. I don't know about the different tiers, but okay. Anyway, please. Because I need to try to figure out how to be more considerate of people watching this stuff, because I usually am not. I'm sorry. I'm not very good. I'm not a very good YouTuber, but I try what I can. Other things about the Chinese trip. I'm sorry, I'm thinking. It's hard to explain things unless I have pictures or videos about it. I'm not very good at vlogging. And plus, I don't know why people keep doing this. I mean, they can't help it because they have a tripod in their hand and they can only go so far away from their face without walking into trees. I just don't like the view where when they do a vlog and they're filming themselves in the face, it's like you can see their face so close, you can see their fillings in their teeth, or they have stuff in their teeth. Like, oh my God, please don't put your camera so close. Or it's just a little pet peeve for me. I just don't like people's faces so too close to my face. I don't like it. So the view of that, it drives me nuts. But a lot of people keep doing it, so I don't like watching people's vlogs that much. What else? Oh, sorry. It's a reminder. I need to open the gate in a bit to get a delivery. What is it? The trip overall, even though I had some minor issues and some uncomfortable stuff, my son liked it, so that's more important for me. My husband had a good time. That's also important. As for me, it was kind of a mix. I did have pockets of time where it's fun, like actually feeding pigeons and they jump on you and fight on your chest. And so, yeah, but it was really cool. They didn't bite me. They just they'll bite each other, but not me. Funny enough. I was like, okay. And they flew on my head. It was all right. I also dressed up in Korean clothes to pose at the Yalu River. But even though the clothes look like it can fit anyone, it was still kind of snug on me, and it's kind of apparent, kind of obvious. The thing that I remembered learning about the Korean traditional dress is a hanbok. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it, but yeah, it was designed specifically to not show the womanly form, the womanly figure, but I am not that fortunate. I'll just leave it at that. I mean, it is and isn't at the same time. No, that's all the info I'm giving out. Okay, so this is a lighter pink, I see. I did too much. All right, so what did I talk about? It's a bit jumbled and disorganized, I can admit. I do have jet lag, so can I have that as today's excuse? Hopefully next week it'll be better. I basically talked about China, and the majority of it was like a handful of fear-mongering propaganda on our social media, and to the point where there's so much of it that even both me and my husband were like, oh, should we be careful in case shit happens? And our answer was yes, we probably should. And it made sense at the time, but when we arrived, we had very little problems with the people both in China and arriving in the US, because there's also fear mongering like, oh, if you are not a US citizen, they're going to give you a hard time and just pick you up at random. Like, they made it feel like that it was the case, but that's not. They do have certain conditions, like you have like a criminal history and this and that, or you came in illegally. There is that. But then some people try to negate that, saying, oh, even if you are legal, they're going to get, like, yes, there is that as well. But I think that's more of people with very complicated backgrounds in terms of reaching the process of getting their citizenship or their green card or this and that. And we cannot say that every single person will face that same problem as well. There's a lot of people, you guys. We need to realize that. There's a ton of people. So the fear mongering was wrong. There is some element of truth, but it's not going to be, this is the end all be all, and that is how it is, and that's how it will be. It was not the case. And we're so glad that was not the case. China was quite enjoyable. There are minor hiccups like constant crowds in public areas. One of the strict things was you need your passport or ID. Well, ID if you're a citizen of China, or a passport, and sometimes even your visa if you're a foreigner, just to verify that this is who you are and you match the identification that you have with you. That was a little bit annoying, but not too much so that I forgot it. I had to go back to the hotel. I have to go back to the house and get, like, it was not that bad. I always almost had it in my purse, so it was okay. And one good thing is there's no theft. There are no pickpockets where I was at. I don't know about other places in China, but where I was at, it was quite safe. You can have your bag a little bit open. No one looked and dig through my bag. They're too busy on their phones. But still be vigilant, especially in the foreign country in general. But I was lucky that I've lived there before, so, and plus I blend in easily, so it's pretty okay. Like, maybe they'll look at me like, oh, are you from Xinjiang province? I'm like, oh, no, what are you talking about? But at most, I did not have that common problem that of being stared at as a foreigner. There were some foreigners there, but not too many Americans. I saw a lot of Europeans, Russians, and a few people from other countries. I think I saw one from Jamaica. And, well, they had a backpack saying Jamaica, so I assumed they were from there. I could be wrong. People are still traveling there despite the fear mongering we see in our own news. So it was quite interesting to hear a lot of things online. Turns out 2/3 of it was wrong, and I'm glad it was wrong. I miss the food. My family, especially my son, took to China like a fish in water. The locals fell in love with my son. They always ask questions about him and whether or not he spoke Chinese. He does not, but he is actively learning a little bit here and there. I love the malls there. I love the blind boxes. I wish I can just buy all the things, but I did not have the storage space. I was also told not to spend so much because of said lack of storage space. I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't hang out with my family as much, so I felt a little bit left out. But at the same time, as long as my son's safe and happy and healthy, that's all that mattered in the end. I also want to have fun too, but sometimes the crowd I was with, everyone's going to be different, but at the same time, it would be nice to at least have a shopping buddy to go shopping with. But at the moment, I don't have. Plus, everyone was super busy. So I can't impose and expect people to just drop everything and go out shopping with me and practically babysit me. Anything else I can think of? No, there's some more, but I have to hold off until next week. Sorry, I'm checking on my. Oh, okay. I did cover what I was supposed to talk about. So I'll try to muster up what else to talk about next week. Maybe the entire duration of the trip. I'll try to make like a small, rough summary of what happened from where to where. I don't have pictures of, but I'll figure something out. So I think that'll be it for now. No one came in. Well, some people hung around a little bit, then they left, but I still appreciate it if you do watch. Sorry if I sound a little bit irate sometimes. I do have jet lag, and um while I don't have a cold, when I talk too long, because I haven't talked in a while, my throat's not used to it, so I have like a slight itchy throat when over talking. I haven't talked a lot when I was in China. So by the time I come here and I'm like, oh, I have to talk again. Now my throat's like, why are you making me exercise, you jerk? And that doesn't sound right, but I mean exercise as in using my voice. All right, that's what I mean. Let's get our heads out of the gutter, please. Okay, I gotta shut up. I need to open the gates and take care of some things and make some lunch, all that boring grown up stuff. Thank you again for watching. Thank you so much. Also, leave a comment if you want to see or hear anything more about the Korean War Museum, because that's what made my channel popular, I guess. Or any questions about my trip. And please be nice. Please be nice. I'm nice to you, so be nice to me. All right, I'll be quiet for once. Finally, thank you for watching. This is Delion signing out. I will sign back on here on the live stream next Wednesday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, unless something happens and I have to reschedule. But until then, that is the standard. I'll see you next time. Have a great week. Take care now. Bye-bye.